Hello and welcome to Box Office Chat, the show from Movie Burner Entertainment where we discuss the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. And this is for the weekend, November 23rd to 25th, 2018, and joining me to discuss all of these various films is Stephen. What have we got at number one this week, Stephen?
In its second week, John, is Fantastic Beasts, and it's grossed another 5.6 million over the weekend, grossing a very impressive 22 million overall.
Yes, and you look at that worldwide box office as well, Stephen, $519.6 million off of a $200 million budget. This was a film which was getting panned last weekend by Forbes and various other commentators who earn a living discussing box office figures and stuff like that. And I suppose in comparison to the other Harry Potter films, this may be slightly disappointing. But look at the performance, mostly in foreign markets, 385.3 million. Very impressive indeed. It's making up nearly 75% of the worldwide box office haul so far. And over $500 million in basically 2.5 weeks. That's outstanding. It's crossed the $500 million mark, and that's always a sign of success for a film. Now, in terms of the film itself, I spoke about it obviously, and I did say that it's felt like a kind of a connective film to the other films that are going to come in the future. This is a 5-part prequel sort of a universe to the Harry Potter films, which were obviously set in the 1990s, but out 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago now, man. Scary to say, but they are. It was like 2001, I think. Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, depending on where you're from, released. This is a prequel to them, so you can understand. The first one's introducing Newt Scamander, Eddie Redmayne's portrayal of the character, Jacob Kowalski, all of the little characters we like. Introducing Johnny Depp's version of Grindelwald. Briefly, he's kind of a morphing into, transforming into another character, Colin Farrell's horror character in the first film. Then we get into this film, it starts broadening out the universe a little bit more, introducing us to more famous faces, the likes of Albus Dumbledore, played by Jude Law. We even get to see Professor McGonagall in there. I can't recall who played her, but Minerva McGonagall's in there, who's a very prominent figure in the Harry Potter franchise. She's also a teacher at Hogwarts, in that flashback sequence, and it may even be in the current day in the film as well. I can't remember. But this kind of, again, just fleshes out the world a little bit more. Of the Fantastic Beasts verse, the prequel universe. Story was a little bit all over the place though. They get caught off in too many side arcs to the likes of Credence Barebones, following his story, trying to find out who his family is, following in and out Grindelwald and what he's getting up to, try to band together as many wizards as possible to his cause, and an uprising just to obviously take control of the wizarding world and stop humanity before they destroy the world, because there's an amazing scene at the end where he shows you a premonition of what's to come, and it's World War II. You see Spitfires zipping through, you see a nuclear bomb going off, so he's doing that. Then you've got Newt Scamander, he's off trying to find Credence Barebones, try and stop Grindelwald, saving all sorts of magical beasts. And then you've got the Lestrange character as well, and it goes off in too many different directions. It's too convoluted, it's too muddied. You don't get to delve into the characters enough, which means in turn you don't feel for the characters, and then when we have some dramatic or epic moments or some sad moments at the end, it doesn't have the emotional punch that it would have had otherwise, and that's because it's a connective film. They've done their best to try and branch out these characters a little bit more, so in future films they can maybe go off in more linear, introspective stories which will obviously connect more with the characters, and it will be a little bit better handled. They've done a great job by expanding this out, but didn't really transfer well into like a 2 hour and 15-minute film.
I think it's baby steps though, John, from director David Yates, who's on board for the rest of this franchise, I think anyway. He has got, I think he did about 3 or 4 Harry Potter films as well, didn't he? So
he's an outstanding director in this universe.
I think they've obviously got a bigger picture in mind here anyway. It is a little bit scattery just now for us audience members, but I think once we get to the stage where we're at the 5th film, it won't hopefully be as bad as a lot of people are experiencing at the moment. You find that with middle parts of films anyway.
The big issue we have, Stephen, is that obviously people are going to compare this to the Harry Potter franchise in the films, but they were working off of distinct stories that had already been put to paper. So they had that whole 400, 500, 600 pages worth of stories and characters, and just they had a great idea of where the story was going. They could cut out things that were maybe superfluous that would bog it down.
Exactly. You
haven't got this luxury with the Fantastic Beasts, kind of doing it on the hop, and it's like what Star Wars is doing just now, essentially trying to build out the mythology and the characters from inwards instead of taking the characters that are already well expanded and fleshed out and put them into a linear story. It's harder.
Yeah, and J.K. Rowling, we trust, John.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to number 2 this week. It's in its third week now. It's The Grinch. It grossed another 3.3 million over the weekend, grossing overall 14.4 million. I did plan to go and see this last week, John, but instead I opted out for watching Creed 2, so we'll not talk about that though. We're talking about The Grinch.
That's fair enough.
I'm going to go and see it this week though. It's a movie that I'm looking forward to seeing, directed by Yarrow Cheney and Scott Mosier. Now I know that you've already seen this film, John. You spoke about it last week. But that's good figures for a second week anyway. 3.3 million over the weekend for an animated film, but it is Christmas time, or it's coming into that Christmas period now, so it's come out at the right time, and I do see this doing well over the next 3-4 weeks anyway. Yeah,
£14.4 million after 3 weeks. That's very solid indeed. You look at the worldwide performance, $268.3 million, 75-25 split between the United States and foreign markets. Also, this is a story that seems to go over well with the United States audiences for whatever reason. Production budget of $75 million. It's already made a slight profit, would I thought, at least, me taking into account all the cuts. I certainly don't recall many adverts for this, so they've not really pushed it promotional wise, but it's just an average animated film, really, Stephen. And if you've seen the Jim Carrey film, or if you've seen the animated half an hour cartoon, then you know exactly what the story's all about. It doesn't really shake it up any, it doesn't really do anything different, not that I can recall anyway. Has been a while since I've seen the Grinch Stole Christmas, I believe it was.
Yeah.
The Jim Carrey one, but very much a similar story. Grinch is isolated with his dog up on a big hill or mountain away from Whoville. They're all massively into Christmas. He has a bit of a tragic story surrounding Christmas, slowly fleshes that out. He crosses paths with this little girl, tries to steal Christmas because he's annoyed that they're going for a Christmas celebration that's 3 times bigger than the other years, and then he has a change of heart. He realises that he can change, he can be happy again, he can interconnect with this town and become re-interconnected with civilization, if you'd like. So it's similar to just every other Grinch film I've seen. I've only seen one other Grinch film. I ain't seen the cartoon, but it doesn't do anything really different. It's a fairly average film. I thought it was okay. Visually it was stunning. Character interaction between the Grinch and the dog. The dog obviously doesn't talk because it's a dog, but Benedict Cumberbatch, I thought he was very decent. He's got a great voice, a very iconic voice, and he lends it very well to this. Outside him, there's not a huge deal of characters that were highly memorable. Maybe the Cindy Lou Who character played by Cameron Sealand, that was a little girl I was talking about. I don't even recall Pharrell Williams. I think he was the narrator, so yeah, I probably do recall him actually. I'm talking crap because he narrated the whole film, John. But I mean, it was okay, and that's kind of reflected in its performance as well at the box office. It's doing okay. It's not blowing the box office away by any means, but as you did say, it's a Christmas set film and you'd expect it to hang around the box office for quite a while yet.
Yep, I totally agree, John. And we're going to move on to number 3 this week. It's in its 5th week, actually. It's Bohemian Rhapsody, grossing 2.2 million over the weekend, 39.5 million overall here in the UK. It's very impressive, just short of 40 million in 5 weeks. I don't think this movie could ask for more.
No, it couldn't. Certainly with that box office performance, Stephen, as you did say, £39.5 million. That's outstanding. It's crossing into top 10 territory. I don't know the exact figures for that top 10, what the boundary is to get into it, but certainly when we started this show it was about 40 million.
Yeah.
Must be getting close to that. I don't think it will cross much more than maybe 45. I can't see it hanging around a great deal longer. It's starting to drop a fair bit. 26.8% on last week's performance. 611 theatres, down 18. When it started drop theatres, I mean, it's not a huge amount of theatres, but when they start dropping off, that's kind of a sign that things are getting downwards for it. But I can't really argue with that performance. $539.5 million worldwide. That is a 30-70% split between domestic, in this case United States is domestic, and foreign markets. $52 million budget, outstanding. It's certainly in the face of the criticism it got from critics, which was I felt was harsh. I think they were going after it because it was Bryan Singer who was involved with it, and also we had the controversy with him surrounding certain allegations. I thought it was harsh, as I've said time and again, because he left the film halfway through. I believe Dexter Fletcher took over, but for reasons he just couldn't be credited. That's built into the system now. After Clint Eastwood, and obviously that, I can't remember which film it was a western film that was in trouble, he took over the directing, and they changed the rules after that. I'm sure it was because of that. So I thought it was harsh. I thought it was a very decent film, very enjoyable, slick, amazing visuals. Never went too further than skin deep in terms of the actual emotional personal life of Freddie Mercury, but I thought Rami Malek done an outstanding job. He really possessed the character. He looked incredible. Sounded, well, he didn't, I was about to say sounded, Stephen, but I've actually, as I was saying to you before we came on, it was actually a chap called Mark Martel who's came to prominence over the last couple of weeks. He's had a couple of viral videos on YouTube also singing Bohemian Rhapsody in one take, and Somebody to Love. He came in and beefed up the original vocals of Freddie Mercury. So it was him that done it. It wasn't Rami Malek, but tell you what, Rami Malek done everything else. He nailed all of the movements.
Yeah.
That whole Live Aid section as well, he just nailed it on, but I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Everything from the shots of Pepsi, I believe it was, on the piano and stuff like that, incredible. So I thought it was a decent film. It's doing very well at the box office. Yeah, over $500 million for a film of this nature is really an outstanding success. So
yeah,
again, it just shows you how well musical films translate over here in the United Kingdom. If you do it right, people will come out and watch them.
Yeah, it's good to see that this chap's getting some recognition, though, John, for his voice talents. You know, Mark Martel.
He could knock back the Queen when they were looking for another singer. Obviously, they went for that other guy. I forget his name. I think he won America's Got Talent or something, or X Factor over in the United States.
I think Queen have had the chap from the band called Free. He I think he was the initial one. I think maybe in the late 90s. But you're not going to replace Freddie Mercury, are you? It's
this
a very
guy's close, man. I'm telling you, with the vocals, but maybe not the on-screen persona.
Yeah, that's what I mean, John. You know, that presence, you know, that came along with Freddie Mercury, it was something that comes along once in a lifetime, you know. But we're going to move on to number 4 this week, John. It is a movie called Robin Hood, and its first week comes from our good friends at Lionsgate. It's 1.3 million over the weekend, obviously grossing 1.3 million overall. This movie, now before we get into talking about the movie itself, John, Robin Hood is a character, certainly here in the UK. It's been done to death on television and movie.
Been done to death everywhere, really.
Yeah, I think, you know, this isn't based on what we're hearing so far from this movie. We've not seen this movie yet, John, so I don't really want to comment on that. But the sort of feedback we're getting already is not looking really good for this movie coming in its first week. Directed by Otto Bathurst, not really familiar with his work, but this stars Taron Egerton, Jamie Foxx, Ben Mendelsohn. There's a whole host of stars in this movie. The list goes on, but it's just one of these movies. It's getting 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb. A lot of people saying it's a bit lackluster. I don't know. Personally, it's not a character I'm that interested in. You know, I think after seeing the Kevin Costner one, and then a few years back we saw the Russell Crowe one. We also got a BBC adaptation of it as well, maybe about 6-7 years ago, I think. Done relatively okay, but as I said, over here in the UK, it's a character that's been done to death. The story's been told that many times. Certainly not one I'm going to rush out to see anytime soon.
No, neither am I, Stephen, for the reasons you actually said. First and foremost, when you introduced this film, it's a Lionsgate release. I don't really like Lionsgate, Stephen. I think it'd be fair to say they seem to have a bee in their bonnet with us, so I'm not going to be putting my hard-earned cash into their coffers anytime soon. Certainly not for this abomination of a release, because by all accounts it is utter crap. It's been getting tanned by the likes of Chris Stuckman. Jeremy Jans didn't really enjoy it. He says he enjoyed parts of it, but it was a bit of a joke. It seemed out of place, out of time. You know, the costumes weren't quite right. It was too slick. Chris Stuckman says it was doing the whole 300 thing where it was like slowing down time. It was like animations that are like 7-8 years out of date. Just the stylistically it wasn't great. They all seem to agree though that Taron Egerton is a fantastic actor, but the director just hamstrung every single actor in this film basically. There wasn't really an outstanding performance, and that's just purely because of the story and what they had to work with off of the script. Apparently the story was muddied. It ended on a cliffhanger, sort of setting up a sequel, which I don't think is ever going to happen. By all accounts, Ben Mendelsohn does his best, growls a lot, but it's just a kind of a 2D cardboard sort of antagonist, which is a shame, because I mind seeing the promotional pictures at first release for this film, and he looked dapper as hell. He looked very good. I was anticipating what he was going to bring, because obviously we know he's like the modern day Gary Oldman, where he's just amazing at playing antagonists. But it doesn't seem to have transferred well to the actual final film, and that's purely because of what Ben Chandler and David James Kelly have done with the screenplay, which is, I can understand what they've tried to do. Having not seen the film, just basing it on the hearsay and third party stories and obviously reviews, I can understand why they've tried to go for this kind of a modern period mixture, because you need to kind of differentiate this release from the whole host of other ones. It's been done to the death, as you said, so I can understand them trying to do something different. But even the palette, the colour palette of the release, it looks very strange. It's very subdued, kind of a grey and browns and stuff, and it just doesn't look very appetising on the eye.
It appears the plot is the same though, John.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to stylise it in a different way to previous movies, but the plot just seems to stay the same.
And you've got that issue again, Stephen, as you did say, all these actors and actresses, quite prominent ones, the likes of Paul Anderson, Jamie Dornan, Ben Mendelsohn, Jamie Foxx, Taron Egerton. I mean, it just seems like there's too many actors and actresses in here, and they're trying to fit it into a story which is only lasting just under 2 hours long. So how the hell do you fit all these characters in without bogging it down and just bogging the story down? I don't know. I ain't got any intentions of going to watch it. For me, the best Robin Hood was Kevin Costner from the 90s. That wasn't a particularly good film either, but Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner obviously had their old fun in the 30s. I've never seen that one.
I liked
I'm done with it, man.
I liked the Mel Brooks one, the Men in Tights one. I thought that was quite funny, but that was obviously a spoof. We're going to move on, John, to number 5 this week. It's Nativity Rocks coming in its first week with an impressive 800,000, just under £1 million for this Christmas-based film. Don't know too much about it. I know that it's directed by Debbie Izzet, and it was also written by Debbie Izzet as well. And this movie stars Simon Lipkin, Craig Revel-Horwood from, as we know, Strictly Come Dancing, and Daniel Boyes. It's getting pretty average ratings, John. This is a movie, it's based on the staff and the students from St Bernadette's Primary School in Coventry who audition for a place in a rock musical competition. What's your thoughts?
St Bernadette's Primary School in Coventry. Wow, what a setting for a film. Wow, how is this in the top 10 of the United Kingdom's box office? How is this in the top 5 of the United Kingdom's box office? Clearly there's a lot of people who live in Coventry. I've got relatives down there. I don't really talk to them anymore because they're slightly cuntish, to say the least. So that's my thoughts on Coventry. So that's served my taste of this film right away. Yeah, they were sent to Coventry, never to come back. It's kind of like the modern day Australia. That's where we send all our onions, you know. They don't come back. But look at Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. Tomato meter. There's been 8 critics found it necessary to go and watch this film, give it their time. I don't know who they are. None of them are top critics, I don't believe. No, none of them are top critics. 0% rating, Stephen. This averages out to a 3.7 out of 10. How the hell do you average 0 out of 3.7 out of 10? Suppose you have to give it something out of 10. You can't mark it down to 0, but 0% after even 8 reviews, that's the worst rating I've ever seen on Rotten Tomatoes. So Nativity Rocks. I'm going to read some of these reviews because I'm not going to add to the. I mean, you look at you go into Box Office Mojo. There's nothing about the box office performance. It's really a Christmas miracle that this has earned nearly £1 million in its opening weekend. I don't know how the hell they've done that. It must have had an amazing extended family in this Coventry school that have just went out and seen it again and again and again and again and again. But you look at these reviews, one says it really doesn't, and it just ends it there. Yeah, that's fair enough. If you don't have a seasonal school play or a local panel to attend in the coming weeks, and you're weirdly desperate for something to fill the gap, then here you go. Craig Revel-Horwood plays an impresario who wants to make it all about Herod, which is tasteless but quite funny. I'm going to end it there. I'm done with this, man. I ain't going to go and watch this film. That's terrible, man. Worst idea for a film I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, Celia Imrie's in there, and I think Hugh Dennis is in there as well. So there's actually quite a few, well-named stars in there from the UK, John. Listen, it's not going to be one of the. I think most parents this time of year are going to have a belly full of nativity plays and pantomimes and stuff like that. Certainly, from those comments from that critic, I don't think people are going to subject themselves to this intentionally, and on purpose. But we'll move on anyway to number 6 this week. It's Widows in its 3rd week, and it's grossed £500,000, grossing 5.3 million over the weekend. Now, this is set in contemporary Chicago amidst a time of turmoil. 4 women with nothing in common except a debt left behind by their dead husbands' critical activities take fate into their own hands and conspire to forge a future on their own terms. This is directed, as we've already mentioned, John, by Steve McQueen, and it was written by Gillian Flynn, and Steve McQueen did the screenplay, and it stars Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez and Elizabeth Debicki.
Yeah, Stephen, I can't lie. I did say I was going to go and watch it maybe last week, I think, and I went to see Creed 2 instead. It's just a better film. I prefer Michael B. Jordan. I like what Stephen Caple Jr.'s done. I prefer boxing. I prefer the Rocky franchise. This, by all accounts, though, is an outstanding film in terms of cinematic merit. Steve McQueen's an outstanding director. You know what you're getting from that guy. 12 Years a Slave, a whole host of incredible films. Look at the disconnect on Rotten Tomatoes, it's quite telling. 91% of the critics, 85% of the top critics have rated this fresh. Just 62% of the audience seem to be liking it though, so there's a slight disconnect there. Although when you actually break down the actual average rating, it's kind of a closer. So by all accounts, it's a film that's going over well, but certainly the box office performance, it's not really going over well worldwide. Worldwide, it's crossed $53.1 million off of just a $42 million budget. It's not eked out a profit quite yet. It may get there though. Over here, I mean, £5.3 million is outstanding for a film of this nature. Obviously a drama heavy film. I'd wonder if it's Daniel Kaluuya's performance or presence in this film. It's maybe dragging people in the United Kingdom out to see it, because obviously he is a British actor, an English actor who came to prominence for me anyway in Get Out. Fantastic actor. But you've got a whole host of other names in there to be fair, the likes of Colin Farrell, Robert Duvall, Elizabeth Debicki. I mean, the list goes on. So I doubt Daniel Kaluuya's got a bigger pool than the likes of John Bernthal, Liam Neeson, Viola Davis. But him and amongst them, I can understand why people are going out to give it a bash. I certainly will try and get along and give this a bash, because I do like Steve McQueen. I think he's an outstanding director, as I said. It seems like a very intriguing story, and I definitely will give this one a bash at some point. But the pool of Creed 2 was greater this week. Sorry, I had to go and see that first. And we'll talk about that next week, because that is in the box office. Next week, we're always a week behind.
Yeah, just moving on, John, to number 7 this week. It's a film in its 8th week now, and we've spoke about this for the last 2 months now. It's A Star Is Born, and it's grossed another 400,000 over the weekend. That is a catchy song, isn't it? And it's grossed overall £28 million now. I actually went to see this a second time. I think it was last week, and one of the things I did like, actually, I liked that guitar that Bradley Cooper was playing at the very beginning. I don't know why I missed that the first time. I don't know if it was it looked like an Epiphone Casino. I'm not sure. It was a green guitar. I might be wrong. It could have been a Gretsch. I'm not sure.
Or a Gibson. It was 335.
You're probably right. But it was just a great looking instrument. But there's not much more I can say on this. Bradley Cooper surprised me as a singer. Lady Gaga surprised me as an actress. Roles reversal there, but I think both of them are going to be in the mix for Academy Award season, because I think they've earned it, and I know that I think both of them have became very good friends through this movie as well. Lady Gaga's really had a lot of good things to say about Bradley Cooper as a professional filmmaker, and you know, on a personal level as well. I think he's helped her a lot to rediscover her personal life. I think her real name's Stephanie. I'm pretty sure. I might pick that up wrong. It was an article I was reading.
I've never actually looked at her real name, I can't lie.
But I think the whole experience has rejuvenated her own personal life. I think she's starting to separate the persona from the real person due to this film, so that's good to see. From Bradley Cooper's point of view, this is his first directorial film. I thought it was really nicely shot. The pacing was excellent as well. It plays almost like a sort of rockumentary. Some of the songs in there as well was very good. I think the guitar work was excellent as well. I'm not actually sure if Bradley Cooper played the guitar or not, or if he was just doubling, but it was very convincing nonetheless. Thought the cast were excellent as well, and that little relationship between him and his brother Sam Elliott, played on Bobby, that was a nice little angle as well. But I thought the whole cast were excellent. I thought Alec Baldwin as well, David Chappelle. I just thought the whole cast were excellent. It was a good movie, and it's one of those movies. I think I said this last week. I think I'm just waiting for the Blu-ray release now. I think two times at the cinema seeing this movie is enough.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the Blu-ray now. Probably out after Christmas, I think. Probably Academy Award season it'll probably come out, and that'll just remind people how good a film is.
Yes, I was one and done, Stephen. I didn't go back and see it, but I did enjoy it. The first time I seen it, I thought it was a very good film. I've said it time and again, it explored similar themes to the likes of La La Land, where it was kind of just exploring the pitfalls of fame, how it can impact you, just the rise and fall of two different figures. Obviously in La La Land it was Seb and Mia. In this it's Lady Gaga's character Ali and Bradley Cooper's Jack. I actually didn't realise Bobby, played by Sam Elliott, was his brother. There you go, when I first watched it. I just thought he was sort of a manager type figure who had wronged him by selling off the land. Obviously his dad was buried in the land or something, sold it off for like wind farm, I think I wanted to say.
Right, yeah.
So that was an interesting dynamic between those two. Loved the performances from Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, two outstanding performances. I definitely see this film getting Academy Award nominations. It would just be intriguing to see what categories. I think Lady Gaga will get a nomination for Best Actress. I don't know if Bradley Cooper will get a nomination for Best Director, because that may be a tricky one. It might sneak in for actor though, I don't know. I mean, don't know, but I definitely think Best Song for I can't even remember the name of it I was singing a minute ago. Shallow. I think that will definitely get a nomination and perhaps a win for Best Song, and then we'll see them playing it at the actual awards ceremony itself. But all in all, very good film. $362.4 million at the box office worldwide, $36 million budget. Outstanding success. Hats off to everyone involved in it.
Yeah, definitely, John. The Girl in the Spider's Web is coming in at number 8 this week. It's grossed 400,000. I think that's pretty low for a film like this, but nonetheless, its overall grossing is £600,000 in its first week. I don't really want to go into this too much, John, because we will be talking about this a little bit more in depth this coming Thursday on the blog rundown. Our writer Philip Henry, he has done an excellent review on this, so we'll keep this one brief. But this is directed by Fed Alvarez, and it stars Claire Foy, Bo Gadson, and Sverren Gudnason. This is obviously based on the Stieg Larsson characters. And the novel is by, I think it's David Lagerkrantz, I think that's the chap's name. And it's out in theatres now, but as I said, Philip did a good review on this movie. It's getting a 6.1 out of 10, above average. This is obviously the series of books from Stieg Larsson, and I think this is one I'm going to check out. I know that Claire Foy, she's taken over the role from Rooney Mara, Elizabeth Salander, a whole host of stars in it, John, but I'll let you in with your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie, I've seen The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Stephen, from 2011. I didn't see the one from 2009, which was also called The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This, I believe, is based on, as you said, a series of books. I haven't actually read any of the books, I should say. It'd be strange if I'd seen the books. That'd be very weird. I saw them in the shop, but I never bought them. But look, I've really enjoyed Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara, what they did in that film. Even the likes of Christopher Plummer was in there, Robin Wright. Really outstanding cast. This one hasn't got quite as good a cast, although it has got our very own Stephen Merchant there, and I do love that man very dearly. Sylvia Hoeks, Lakeith Stanfield, really good in Get Out, brilliant actor. And Claire Foy, as she said, taking over from Rooney Mara as Elizabeth Salander. So look, I've not seen it. The reviews are they're not making me want to go out and watch it, Stephen. I've not read Philip's review as of yet, but I will when we come up to the movie on my blog, or the blog rundown as we're calling it now. I will read his review with great intrigue, and that may change my view on whether I want to go and watch this film or not. I did enjoy The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but I didn't enjoy it so much I was pining away for this one to come out, you know what I mean? 34% top critics response, 41% from all the critics, 44% from the audience. It's an average experience by all accounts. You go into Box Office Mojo, $43 million budget, and it's only grossed $31.4 million worldwide, and it's entered in to the United Kingdom's box office number 8, £388,000. So by all accounts, it's doing average in the box office, it's doing average in critical response and audience response, and it's not really a franchise that I've got a great deal of love for. motion for, so I'm not really running out to say, oh, yippee, I want to go and watch this. And I wouldn't say yippee anyway, because I'm not Anakin Skywalker, but I digress.
We'll move on to number 9 very quickly, John.
Yes.
It is Disney's The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, and its fourth week now.
10 even quicker.
Certainly will. This has grossed 400,000 over the weekend. Overall, 4.9 million. We've spoke about this for the last month now, John. This is line The Witch and the Wardrobe style. I don't think Disney are going to be losing any sleep over this. I think just under £5 million in 4 weeks it's actually okay for a film that is meh, if you like. But very beige. It's just a film. We've talked about this for the last 4 weeks in regards to the cast. A great cast. And it's coming from a great studio. There's just something not clicking with it at all in regards to the screenplay, but it is what it is. I don't think it's gonna. I actually might have said last week this will not be in the top 10 this week, but I was wrong. I don't think it's going to survive another week. I've got to be honest with you. The likes of, as you said, John, Creed 2 coming out. We've got Mary Poppins Returns coming up. So some of the visuals. I will say one thing about the film though, John. Some of the visuals actually look decent.
Yeah, they do.
They look very much in the style of The Great Showman. Some of the angles of the shots, coming overhead over the actors and stuff like that. But it's just a movie that's just not clicked with me either. And I'm not basing it on other people's reviews. I don't do that often, but I just don't have a feel for this one at all.
No, and that, as you say, Stephen, you've took the words out of my mouth just about and everything you've said there. Yeah. It's not a novel I've seen. Again, I'm saying seen. It's not a novel I've read. No real interest in the novel. I've no real interest in the premise of the film. I've no real interest in the film in general. It's crossed $131 million worldwide off of a $120 million production budget. So I suppose it's just about broke even. I don't think it has though. I mean, you've got to take cuts from theatres and stuff. It's just not. It's a flop. Disney don't care. They make mega bucks all the time, so they're not giving a damn about this. But again, it is going to be out the box office very shortly, Stephen. Hopefully not for a Polish film, which we're going to be talking about next, because that just makes life difficult for us. But the likes of White Boy Rick, Aquaman, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is supposed to be incredible. Mary Poppins Returns, as you said, Bumblebee, whole host of incredible films coming out very shortly. So I've got a great deal of confidence this will not be in the top 10 very soon. But we're going to move on to the final film, Stephen, in this week's box office chat. I'll let you introduce it.
Planeta Singli 2, that is. This is coming in with £100,000 over the weekend, John, in its first week. As you said, this is a Polish-based film directed by Sam Akina. I don't think he did the first movie.
No, he didn't.
But it's not a movie that I'm familiar with at all. That or the first one. It's based on a relationship between Anna and Tomic, and is experiencing a considerable crisis. He, the showman Biener, does not intend to settle down at all. On the other hand, she wants that very much. Wow, that sounds like a film that's really going to drag me out my chair and into a cinema seat. Not.
Yeah, it's a rom-com, and it's by all accounts a Polish rom-com. So I don't go and watch English rom-coms. So I'm not going to go and watch Polish rom-coms. I just ain't going to do it. Directed by Sam Akina. I looked at some of this guy's previous filmography. I mean, wow. I'm going to leave it there. The original one was directed by another household name, Misha Okan. So it's great to see that continuing up the great work. But by all accounts, though, it's bringing back a recurring actor in this series, Maciej Stur, and we've got Agnieszka Widloka in there as well. Danuta Stenka, Peter Glowacki, Veronika Kijalkiewicz. I just wanted to say these names, Stephen, to just see if I can pronounce them. I also know a Polish chap very well. I've known him for a number of years. He's from Gdansk, so I just like to test myself every now and again and see if I can say these Polish names. They're right tongue twisters. The film I'm not going to go and see, let's be honest, I'm just not going to go and see it. Every now and again though, you do get these foreign language films popping into the top 10. It's just purely because of the sizable communities we have in United Kingdom of Polish people, Indian people, Pakistani people. We've not had any real Romanian hits as of yet, but I'm sure we'll get a few shortly. That's if I'm not scared out by the closet racist fringe, which is coming to prominence with the whole Brexit thing. I'm sure we'll get a remaining hit in there, sleeper hit in there at some point. But we can't get much more to add. It's crossed £143,000. Hats off to it.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge it its success because I ain't seen it and I don't know whether it's a terrible or a good film.
Yep.
It may be an amazing film and I'm never going to know, but hey ho, I can live with myself and I can sleep easy at night. And that's going to bring us to the end of this week's box office chat. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us prattling on once again, and we will be back tomorrow with Movie Burner News.
Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.